This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
The death of my son, moving 3 times in 6 months, my parents' divorce, my husband's job loss.
I was, 12 weeks postpartum. My then husband came out to me as transgender. And just a couple weeks later, our son suddenly died.
Should we say a special gratitude thank you to Reddit that brought us together?
Oh, totally. Reddit is kind of a cesspool, but so me.
My one and only Reddit.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to As Long As I'm Living. Happy Thanksgiving. And of course, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you are having a gentle Thanksgiving or celebrating or not celebrating in whatever way feels comfortable to you, given the current state of your life.
This is actually going to be one of the first holidays that I do celebrate and not even in full since Aiden died. I'm going to be celebrating it in a very unusual way because my family will not be all together, but this is the first time that I have plans for a holiday since Aiden died.
So tell me what you're doing.
My husband and I and my dad are going out for dinner, and that's on Thursday. And then on Friday, my mom will come for Friday night dinner, and we'll have a Thanksgiving themed Shabbat dinner. So that is the plan. This is not usual. For my family, typically Thanksgiving is the one holiday that we get together, all of us.
All of us, meaning your sister and her family and your
my
brother.
Sister, her family, my brother, his fiance, now wife, my parents, like we all have usually Thanksgiving together. So last Thanksgiving, my grandmother died, and I think that was the beginning of the bad year. Like this is off topic, but when I think about when the bad year began, it began when my grandma died right before Thanksgiving, and we spent Thanksgiving in grief. And then Aiden was born 3 weeks later. He died a few months later, and that just kind of set off the bad year. So we're coming up on a 1-year mark of that, and it's going to look different.
Yeah. And like you said, last Thanksgiving, you were very pregnant.
My family was together.
Yeah. Yeah. This is an intersection of a lot of your grief things, your grandmother, Aiden, and of course your parents divorcing. There's a lot intersecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because I'm the only kid in Los Angeles, I definitely feel like a responsibility to make sure that I celebrate with both parents.
Yeah.
I don't want to say evenly, but just celebrate with both parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Going into Thanksgiving this year definitely feels different. What about you? First Thanksgiving not married.
I am not celebrating at all. So I told my family lives nearby, but I told them that I don't want to celebrate this year. Leading up to this day, have not felt super grateful. And, even more than that, my very favorite week of Quinn's entire life was the week of Thanksgiving last year. We spent it at my in-laws, and this was before the shit kind of hit the fan with, Chloe coming out, and after I had felt a little bit recovered from giving birth and breastfeeding was just starting to get easier, and Quinn started sleeping through the night the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So like the week of Thanksgiving, I was getting amazing sleep for the first time in a while, and he was such a cute age. He was 2 months old, a little over 2 months old. And oh my God, he was so cute and funny. He was smiley, and he was just that was definitely my favorite week with him. So I have a feeling that doing any kind of Thanksgiving festivities would feel really hollow and empty this year. So I've decided that for this year only, I'm just skipping it. And my family was okay with that. I
wouldn't say for this year only. I would say this year I'm skipping it. We don't know where we're going to be next year.
True. I don't need to tell myself that I'll definitely do it next year. I'll eventually be celebrating holidays again.
Yeah.
This year it doesn't feel so good.
So this is going to be your first holiday that you're skipping.
Yeah.
Because Aiden died in March. I skipped Passover. I skipped all of them. And the Jewish people have so many holidays. I probably had 7. I've had 7 since he died. I've skipped all of them. So for me, this is the first one that I will not be intentionally skipping. The thing I'll say about skipping is I actually do find it helpful. You know, it felt better to skip than to force myself to sit through something that really hurt.
Yeah. It's like, I know I won't be happy doing it. So why create negative Thanksgiving memories for myself? Like, let me just keep Thanksgiving as something lovely that I can come back to later when I'm feeling better. Like, there's no reason to ruin it.
Yeah. I'm with you. I get it.
We here at As Long as I'm Living are not proponents of gratitude policing, forcing yourself to only see the good, or toxic positivity. We are about to talk about a couple of things that we're grateful for, because today we can see those things. But our original plan for this week was an episode called Fuck Thanksgiving, because a couple of weeks ago when we were planning it out, neither of us felt grateful at all. But as with anything else in grieving, things change by the day. So if you are sick and tired of hearing Thanksgiving content and you do not feel like giving thanks, please know that you have our absolute support in skipping this episode entirely, and we will have another episode for you tomorrow.
So what are the things that you're grateful for that maybe I wouldn't think?
Okay, so number one, not number one. The first thing I'll say that I'm grateful for that I think is maybe something I wouldn't have thought of is that I have a personality that is helping me face this head on. I am facing this grief head on, and that's how I am. I learned quickly that I can't really fix this per se, but I am doing literally all the things that I need to do in order to heal and in order to not let this ruin my life. And that, you could say, it's like, wow, motivation, or like, wow, look at her go. I know some of it is just my innate personality. So I'm grateful for the personality because it's really serving me well.
I think that's definitely true. And I would agree. I am grateful for my son's cemetery. He has the most beautiful cemetery. It's so lovely. Sometimes there are little ducks that walk by, and they never mind when I put signs and pictures and rocks, and like, they don't mind that I have picnics there with my friend. And Aiden is buried next to this baby named Ari, and I became really good friends with Ari's mom. And I love that when I go, I know Aiden has a friend there and he has a little class, and I just feel really comforted by the fact that there's another mom watching out for him and says hi to him and bye to him. It's like he gets twice the love. And I just think it's so pretty, and they're so responsive by email. They send me all the information I need. They gave us a free plot because if you're under 12, you get a free, what a weird thing. But if you lose a child under the age of 12, you get a free place to bury your child. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but these things are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm like, you know what the last thing you want to be doing is? You don't want to be scoping out different plots to be like, what has a good view? What's a good place? I don't want to be negotiating. I just we called them, Russell answered, and it was taken care of. Mm-hmm. Yep. And another thing I really like about them is that if you're there, they come driving around their little golf carts and they'll give you water.
Cute.
It's like a 5-star cemetery.
Oh my God, that is adorable.
I don't know what other ones are, but that one is really nice.
Love it.
Only the best. All right, what's another thing?
All right, I am grateful for Lexapro. So I've always been an anxious person, but I am literally less anxious now after my son died than I was before he died because of medication. And I never would have gone on medication if I weren't so completely fucked all the way up from my son. So
I too agree
for medication.
I'm so grateful for medication, and I have tried to get off it a few times and it does not work. I need it. There's no shame in that. I'm really grateful. I've assembled a team here, what I call my team, my therapist, my acupuncturist, my OBGYN. I all these people that I've kind of assembled together and created a support team. I know you have your EMDR therapist and your couples therapist. Mm-hmm. I think all of those people together, I told my therapist this morning, it's like they're scaffolding, keeping me standing while if I didn't have that, I would crumble. I
Yes.
have never been so reliant on, outside people as the way I am now. So I'm really grateful
Absolutely.
for
100%.
my support.
Yep. I'm grateful for something that I know you're also grateful for, and that is the floor.
We love the floor.
We love the floor. It's always there for us. We need it so much, and it's always there. So I'm grateful.
I'm
for
also.
that. I've laid on the floor in Vermont. I've laid on the floor in New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. I've laid on the floor like outdoors in people's yards, at the beach, like in a parking lot. I lay on the floor at CVS, like
Anywhere I am, I'm on the floor. I've laid on the floor in national parks. I've laid on dirty floors, clean floors, carpet floors, hardwood floors, tile floors. I've laid on foreign floors, familiar floors.
I'll take any floor. I'll take any floor if I need it.
I'll take any floor.
Yeah.
I am really grateful that I moved to Los Angeles temporarily, even though now I've lived in a million places a million times. I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going next. And all of our stuff is still in St. Louis a year later. I am still very grateful that I was here. Now it gives us flexibility, like the fact that I was able to stay here longer because I didn't have all my furniture and whatever, and we were able to make a decision to stay after he died, for extra months. That was easy. It wasn't like I had to break a lease, I just left and went to my parents' house. We had my parents who did the best that they could, and my mom for sure, like just fed me for months, for 6-7 months. She like fed me and made sure that I had clean clothes, and she made sure that I like just the basic was taken care of. And I wouldn't have had that if I lived anywhere else. Like, I didn't have to be embarrassed to get out of bed at 3 PM, and I was confused all the time. And she wouldn't let me drive in the beginning because she was worried for my safety. Like I really had so much love and support, not always perfect, but really truly better than none. So I'm grateful for that too.
That day-to-day, just like keeping yourself alive support is so critical in the beginning. If you're listening to this and you have a friend who's newly bereaved, just drop off a meal, leave it on the front porch.
Yeah. Don't ask, just drop it, because I promise you 2 years later also have trouble feeding themselves sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
So one time, it was probably like 3 or 4 months into us living there, my mom and I went to therapy together. We went to see my therapist together just so my therapist could translate some grief things into English and English into grief. She was really good at just explaining why I would be on the floor, or explaining, why I need to take space from one friendship but not the other. So my mom and I went, and at the end of the therapy session, my mom asked my therapist for 5 minutes of private time. And even now thinking about it, I get nervous. What would you assume she was talking about? I thought maybe she was talking about how she wanted us out of the house and like she didn't know how to tell us to leave. Or I thought maybe she was talking about like my relationship with my sister, or she was talking about how like us living in the house might be creating more problems. I had no idea, but I definitely assumed the worst. So like maybe a month later or 3 weeks later, we were in Yosemite, and we were like looking at these beautiful rocks and the water and the trees and the birds. And we were having this beautiful little moment of honesty. And I was like, can you tell me what you spoke about with my therapist? And she was like, she's like, you really want to know? And I was like, yeah, I want to know. She's like, are you sure? Are you sure you really want to know? And I was like, yeah. But in my head, I was like, how horrible could this be? Like it must be really bad. And she was like, well, I asked her what to do about the dishes in the sink. She's like, every day I come home from work and like there are dishes in the sink, and she's like, there are dishes in the sink, and I want to ask you guys to clean up after yourself, but I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't. She's like, I don't know if that's rude to ask a grieving person to do their own dishes. She's like, I've really tried to like hint at it. She was like, I had the sticker that said dirty and clean. I thought if I would move the sticker, you would see if the dishwasher was dirty or clean. But yeah, I wanted to know if I was allowed to ask you guys to do your dishes.
What did your therapist say?
My therapist said she's not allowed to mention dishes to us.
Yeah.
Isn't that surprising?
No, because it's true. But I'm glad she said that because I think some people wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, she was like, if they can't see the dishes right now, they cannot see the dishes. And they're not doing it intentionally. They just truly aren't seeing them. And you know what's interesting? I cannot remember eating one thing. I don't remember the dishes. I have no idea how many dishes there were. Like, my brain didn't register any of that. None of it. I have no idea what else I was leaving around the house. But if I didn't live there, I would have had like a stack of dishes. How did you do the dishes? I guess you put them in the dishwasher. What did you do? You were living alone.
We were living alone, but like my parents were nearby.
Right. So maybe they did the dishes.
My mom would come over a lot and do a lot. I'm sure. I mean, I don't exactly remember, but.
But you don't remember.
I'm sure my mom did a lot of dishes for us, which thanks, Mom.
Well, so after my mom mentioned that, I was obviously so embarrassed. Shoot, my husband reminded me today that that he was like, do you know, after you had that conversation, you wouldn't let anyone else do the dishes? Anytime we sat down to dinner, you would get up and be like, it's time for me to do the dishes. Everybody give me the dishes. And then he was like, sometimes we'd be eating on paper and you'd be like, I need to get the dishes. I need to throw away the paper plates. I just like really wanted to make sure I was being a conscientious guest. But anyway, I have to thank my mom for not mentioning anything for months. I mean, probably 4 months and months. She never mentioned any of that stuff. Okay, anything else that you're grateful for? I'm trying to think of the other things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I would say, so the only other thing I'm grateful for all the lost mom friends that I've made. Obviously, you know, we talk all the time, and because our losses were so similar and at almost the same time, the losses are almost identical circumstances, and you and I are almost identical people. We're
also different.
That's true. We are different.
We're very similar and very different.
But we're similar in the ways that we grieve and the way we can support each other. So that's grateful for that. And also I have so many other friends that I text with, lost mom friends. I won't name any of you because I'm nervous I'm going to forget someone important, but you know who you are. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm also really grateful for, there's a support group Chloe and I attended literally like 8 days after Quinn died. We started going. I mean, I still go. She doesn't go anymore. But they're out in Western Massachusetts, and the people I've met there, the community is just so wonderful. And I'm so great. It's free. They offer their services for free, and it's incredible. Their name is Empty Arms in Western Massachusetts. I'll put a link in the description of this episode.
I think we can't end this little blurb here without talking about the Roberts program either.
You're right.
Which we coincidentally are both a part of, but not intentionally. Alina was part of this program before I was. Mm-hmm. I think did it go directly, or did you have to reach out to them?
I reached out to them.
Okay, I reached out see, we are the same. Yeah. I reached out to them too, and the Roberts program is going to do investigations into both our children's death to try and figure out what type of SIDS they died of. And to me, that is so comforting just to know someone's on the case, someone's working on it.
Yeah. And so for anybody who does, obviously most of you have probably not heard of this program, but it's at Boston Children's Hospital. It's called the Roberts Program for Sudden Unexplained Death in Childhood. And they are researching the causes of SIDS because, as we mentioned in previous episodes, it is completely unknown. So it is possible that Judith or I could get a call in 20 years that says, this is why your son died. And for me, it feels so good to be a part of this program because Quinn's death may not be in vain. His death could help prevent future, like other babies from dying in the future. And that feels really good for me. So
that feels good for me too.
I'm super grateful to this program and to just be a part of it and to know that we're doing something or that something is being done. And I don't have I mean,
can we say a special gratitude thank you to Reddit that brought us together?
Totally. Reddit is kind of a cesspool, but we're soulmates.
My one and only Reddit. I don't remember what you posted. Like, I kind of wish that I could go back and see what that first conversation looked like.
I did actually recently.
And what did we say? What? I know I reached out. What did I say?
Me. I actually don't know how you found me. I think I might have commented on something
commented on something.
Yeah. You said, hi, I saw your post in the infant loss group. I lost my son to SIDS in March and I wanted to reach out. This is an awful club to be a part of. And I said, hi there. Yes, it is. I can't believe my son has been gone as long as he has. 4.5 months. He's been gone longer than he was alive. It's truly mind-boggling. I'm so sorry for your loss. And you said that last week was the first week where he was gone longer than he was here. And then that was where it all began. And then we chatted on Reddit for a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah. Cute.
I didn't know that. That was a nice message from me.
Yeah. Honest truth time. How many people did you send that message to?
I sent it to you. And I wrote it on a piece of paper for Ari's mom and left it at his grave. A different message, but along the same lines.
So stop. You're trying to tell me I'm the only bereaved mom you messaged on Reddit. I don't believe you.
You are the only bereaved mom I have messaged on Reddit. I promise. You're the only person and the only other person that I've spoken to on Reddit was when I was trying to get pregnant. This is such an annoying story. I was trying to get pregnant with Aiden, and I like had a question about tracking something or other, and I messaged this woman to just get more information. And she was like, "Oh, I just started trying this month," and she was like, "I don't know, my period hasn't come yet." And guess what?
She was pregnant.
Yeah, she was pregnant.
That bitch.
And I bet you her baby is still alive. So probably. Anyway, yeah, you are the one and only. It was meant to be.
You just felt it in your soul. You were like,
I did. There was something about your post that I really liked. I don't remember what it was.
See if I can find what I posted?
Yeah, I'd be really curious. So I think I noticed that you just said things and your thought process was similar to my thought process.
This is just someone who was talking about, she lost her 5-day-old baby.
Okay.
She said, I don't know. She said, I don't know how to person. I don't know how to be here for my other kids.
This was it. Okay, what did you say?
So she said, I don't know how to person. I don't know how to be here for my other kids. I don't know how to be here on earth. How do I cope with this? How do I be okay when nothing makes sense? I am beyond shattered. I don't even know how I'm going to get through the day. And
this was it.
I said, I'm so sorry. I lost my son to SIDS in January. And while the grief is still excruciating, it does get easier to manage, or at least I've gotten stronger. If the only thing you can do is breathe right now, that's okay. I never felt suicidal as in wanting to kill myself, but I did want to be dead. That has faded. I also felt like I was dying. Very different. That has also faded. Message me anytime. I am not much further along than you are, but we can commiserate if you think that would help.
That was 100% it. Because you said message me, so I clearly felt that I was able to message you. And I specifically remember her saying, I don't know how to person. And I remember that was definitely it. 100%. Well said. Yeah, I remember, and even listening to you say it, I was like, yeah, I really want to talk to that person. I have some things to say. I 100% agree. That was definitely it. Wow, I'm so proud of myself.
That's so cute. So here you go, you guys. Like, the internet is wild. Like, this is a comment that I posted on. This is a post in the infant loss subreddit that has 18 upvotes and 11 comments total. I got 3 upvotes on this comment, and yet I found like the very best friend on the whole internet, and she's literally live every day. Like, she
did not. When we were first getting together, your mom thought that I was gonna murder you, and I remember saying like, "Trust me, I'm 5 feet tall. There is nothing to be afraid of." I am like 5 feet tall, hanging around infant loss groups, like.
I showed my mom a picture of you and Aiden. I was like, look, here's her dead baby. Like, she's
innocent. She's innocent.
Dead baby also. Do you see the dead baby?
I know. But, I think it probably freaked them out because the first time we got together, we decided to go to a remote part of Vermont or wherever we were with no insurance. There was no Wi-Fi. Like, no one could contact us. So I was like, I'm going to meet a friend from the internet and I won't have Wi-Fi and I'm going to a lake. So I can understand why people would be concerned. I can understand.
All right. Well, everybody.
Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, or manageable Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah. We have a couple things we're grateful for and a couple things that we're really not grateful for, but our listeners.
We're excited to have you here. We will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, for another episode tomorrow that's not about Thanksgiving.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.